You understand that trading is actually not something that you enjoy?
Yeah, definitely. If I actually did what I should be doing, I would be in a different place.
What's the most you've made from one trade?
In terms of monetary aspect, it's 100,000 in one trade. In prop firm payouts, it's 650,000.
Do you think you got complacent because of the success that you have now?
What do you mean?
How did you build stress tolerance?
Just practice, I guess. It's just going through the same thing again and again and again. When I see how they speak, how they approach trading, it's like, I don't want to work with someone like that.
Do you think you would be where you are today if it wasn't for prop firms?
No.
Hey everyone, it's James. I'm the founder of Pipfarm, and I'm joined by my co-host Anna.
Hello everybody.
And today our special guest is Zamco.
Hi.
Yeah, so Zamco started trading with Pipfarm at the start of this year, and he's been a valuable member of the community. And since we're in London this week, we really wanted to arrange this podcast so that we can, first of all, meet you and get to know you a little bit better, and of course, share you as a trader and what you're doing with your community and what you're doing as a trader with more people in the Pipfarm community who are watching this right now. So my first question for you is, how did you find out about Pipfarm, and why did you decide to bother trading with us when you already work with so many prop firms?
So yeah, I came across Pipfarm, I believe, on Twitter. I think it was Tiltboy Benny who, I would just see his tweets and I would see his payouts, huge payouts with Pipfarm again and again and again. So I'm like, okay, these guys are paying out big and he's not having any issues. So let me give them a try, because obviously my payouts do tend to be quite hefty. So I thought, I need a prop firm that it's reliable, and Pipfarm seemed like they could be quite reliable. So then I gave you guys a try and everything was smooth. Got my, I think 20k in payouts so far or something. So yeah, I mean, it kind of just came from Twitter. That's where I heard from you about Pipfarm.
Okay. Did you do any other research before, or you just saw that someone else who is also making big payouts was being treated fairly, or did you go deeper into your research?
Well, I went onto the website to look at the rules, because that's very important to me. It's like, okay, cool, I can hit big payouts, but are there any nuances, any stupid rules that might impact me? But it turned out the rules are very simple. No 2-minute rules where you can't close a trade within 2 minutes. Everything was very standard rules, very simple, no issues. So I was like, all right, cool. Nice rules, they pay big, perfect.
Nice. I remember when you actually reached out and you wanted to talk to me before you joined up.
Yeah.
Okay. And why did you take that approach?
Because it's nice to know who the owner is. Because when you join prop firms, some of the owners are very shady. You don't even know who they are. It's good to know who the person is, because if I like the owner as a person and they seem trustworthy, then it's more likely that their prop firm is also going to be reliable, and they're going to hold their end of the stick, and at the end of the day everything runs smooth. So it's good to know the person behind the scenes so that you can ensure that the prop firm is somewhat reliable.
Did you take the same approach evaluating or choosing which prop firm you're going to trade with before all the challenges that the industry faced the past 2 years, or is it something that you've been doing since the beginning?
I think it's only recently I've started doing that. And also since my following on social media has increased, I guess I've been reaching out to more owners just because it's helpful for me to just get out there and get to know everyone who's running what, just to kind of put my name out there.
Is it because you can do that, because you would get attention from someone who owns a prop firm because you have the following, or is it more of a responsibility thing that as someone who has a community, you should take the responsibility to do more research?
Definitely a responsibility thing, because if I trade with a prop firm and people see my payouts, they are now going to copy me and try to go with that prop firm. So it's good for people to know that, okay guys, I know the prop firm owner, this is who it is, he seems chill, you guys could probably trade with his prop firm. So then it's a bit more of I'm responsible for you guys, so if I'm trading with them, I have to assure you that, look, they are all right, you can trust me and you can trade with them. So I guess it's more a responsibility thing.
That's awesome.
What made you to decide to grow a community and become an influencer, if you consider yourself as an influencer?
My plan initially wasn't actually to be an influencer. It was rather just document, this is my journey. I'm starting out now. Because I only started my Instagram page when I first got my first significant payout. And I thought, okay, maybe I'm going to continue getting payouts like this. I should start documenting the process. Like, this is where I'm starting. Let's see where I go with this. And I guess over time, people have just seen all the payouts again and again. And it's built a very authentic and credible page for me. So now people can rely on me and know that, okay, this guy is very credible. We've seen his journey from the beginning to the end. Well, not the end, but ongoing. And I guess it's just grown from there. Just, I guess, journaling my story, my journey.
And how long have you been doing that?
I would say just under a year, just over a year, sorry.
Okay, but you started trading much longer ago.
Yeah, 7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was that first sizable payout that you considered worth sharing?
I think it was around 21.5k.
Okay.
So that, yeah, before that it was only like a $2,000 payout and a $10,000 payout, which again, to me, it wasn't like crazy. It was good, but it wasn't a crazy amount. But what really got me started was that 21,000.
Why did you need to get a 21k payout to start sharing? Why do you think that it has to be a significant amount?
Because I thought that's what's going to get most attention online. Like, if I'm just starting off with like a 1,000 or 2,000, it's not going to grab views, it's not going to grab attention. But if I just come in, hey guys, I've just started, boom, 20k payout, it's just going to grab everyone's attention.
Interesting. What did appeal to you from the beginning, like trading related? Was it a lifestyle? Was it like majority of people? Was it something else? How did you get started?
So I started initially when a friend referred me to a company called IML, which turned out to be a pyramid scheme. But I very quickly realized they were a pyramid scheme and they're not really traders. And then that got me to start looking into what actually trading is. So I looked on YouTube, Instagram, and this was back when I was 17 years old. And when I turned 18, I opened my own brokerage account with IC Markets. So it was my own live capital. I was putting in my own funds, like a quick little £50 or £100. And I was just learning through Instagram and YouTube. Failed for 6 years. And I guess that's how I got started, just through a company like that.
And what did you do in the meantime while you've been working on your skills?
So initially I was in college. And then from there I went on to university. I did a degree in physiotherapy for 3 years. I hated all of it. Never enjoyed a single day of it. So all whilst I'm doing my physiotherapy degree, I'm also trading at the same time. I'm handling patients. I'm working with patients in the hospitals. And at the same time, I'm also like in a trade. So that was hectic. But again, throughout all of this, I was just unprofitable. And then after university, I went on to have my first ever job, which was like a data analyst. So I was working from home a lot of the times. So that was good. That helped with the trading aspect because I was free to trade. But even then, I was just unprofitable throughout this whole time. And then when I turned 22, I got married. And again, I was still working my job from home, 3 days a week from home and then 2 days in the office. And then it just went on to finally getting my first ever payout in April 2024. And then since then till now, just over a year, it's 650,000 in prop firm payouts.
Whoa, wow. So what was the switch? What did you change? Or do you think that it was just the experience that and multiple things that put together that made you profitable?
I think getting married was a big part of it because I was a very non-self-reflective person. I wouldn't really self-reflect at all. I would just keep on doing whatever and not really think about what I'm doing. And I also wasn't responsible. So once I got married, I became much more self-aware, self-reflective, and became more responsible. And then I guess that's what kind of made me think deeper into my trading. What am I doing? How am I doing it? And I guess I started to refine things from there. It didn't work even then. But I guess when I got my first ever payout, whether that was through chance or whatever, the moment I got my first payout, that everything became real to me. It's like, whoa, I can do this. And that confidence instantly boosted everything. I was already refining my strategy, but now that confidence and tangible evidence that it's real and I can do it, that changed everything for me.
Do you think that the support from your partner was the thing that was missing? And were your parents supportive about your trading before? Were they even aware that you were trading? Because I know that many traders are struggling with the fact that they don't have any kind of support and no one believes that they can make it, which also lowers their self-confidence. They don't want to show what they're actually doing. And having support is quite crucial because we're going through a roller coaster of a journey. Every single trader is going through drawdowns, and it's quite painful. It's very stressful. So it's even worse when you have a person close to you that is discouraging you even more. So how was your experience with your close ones?
I think I was extremely privileged in my upbringing because my parents were completely supportive of my trading.
That's
my
amazing.
brother, who's sitting right outside, he gave me, I think, £11,000 of his money that he had earned from his job, and this was over the course of 2 years. So he would slowly give me money to pay for challenges, which I would fail, all of them. My mum gave me like £5,000 over that course of 2 years. Again, I lost all of it. So my parents and my brother, they were all very supportive of me. And then my wife also, she was very supportive of me. She would always say, I would ask her, I was like, do you think I'll ever be a millionaire? She was like, of course, you have it in you. I'm not there yet. I'm almost, no, not almost having a million, but
Having earned.
having earned. But yeah, again, all of them were very supportive throughout the whole way. None of them ever said that you can't do it. They were like, yeah, of course you can. They all said that we can see you being a millionaire. I was like, damn, okay, wow. A lot of pressure, but it did help. I had a very, very supportive family and wife.
That's incredible because this made you also more accountable. You wanted to truly show them and not disappoint them since they showed you that they believe in you since the beginning.
Yeah, definitely a lot of pressure to not disappoint anyone, to show them, look, guys, I can do it. I'm going to prove it. And I guess I have.
Yeah. Do you think that it was messing you up sometimes with the decision making, rushing to prove them that you're truly what they believe in?
Yes, I think it did affect me quite a bit, where I would just be very, very impulsive and try to get it done quick. So any bit of money that I would get from them or from my job, it's just instantly try to get an account and just get funded. But it wouldn't work back then. So I guess it was that pressure to get there quick so I can show them that quick result. Like, look, guys, I did it. But I guess I should have slowed it down.
Yeah, I believe that we all tried to rush. So what was the thing that made you to shift your approach and to take it slower?
I think I haven't taken it any slower. I've actually sped up even more now. But it's just the confidence that's changed. Before, I had no evidence that I could do it. So even though I was rushing through the challenges, I had no confidence that it would actually work. And I don't know, it was just a psychological block. So I was still pushing very quickly to try and pass, but it just wouldn't work. Until now, where I've become confident in my trading system, I've refined it, and now I blast through challenges very quickly. Like within the same day, I pass phase 1. The moment I get my phase 2 credentials, same day, pass phase 2. Like I try to blast right through them.
And how do you work with your psychology currently? Do you have like any routines, or is there anything different that you do to keep yourself calm, focused, cool?
I think now I've become more and more lazy with my trading, I guess, and with my general life. Before I used to go to gym 5 days a week, and now it's like gone down to 2 or 3. I just get lazier and lazier now. It's not good, but my trading is actually improving because I guess I understand my strategy more and more, and that's been refined. But in terms of my psychology and discipline, it's actually going downhill.
Okay.
But somehow it's working in trading.
Do you do something else apart from trading and apart from having the community, of course, that is taking, I believe, time?
Yeah, so obviously there's the Discord, which is like above 5,000 members now. So that was a quick growth. Other than that, I guess I don't really do much. I'm either just on Discord replying to people, or in a trade, or I just go out and eat with my brother. That's pretty much it. I don't really do anything else.
Okay. Do you have any aspirations of just starting with something different, something new apart from trading?
In terms of ambitious work, probably I want to get into properties and real estate, like that type of aspect. I need to get into that. I'm thinking about laundromats, I believe that's what it's called, and car washes, more passive sources of income, because I don't like to actively keep trading. It's not something I enjoy. So I kind of just do it for the money to be able to raise as much capital to then get into passive source of income.
That's really interesting because not a lot of traders would admit that they don't like trading.
Yeah. I say it all the time. I don't like it.
Because we did a survey. You may know that every quarter we do a survey.
Yeah.
And the last one we focused about mental health and psychology for traders. And 95% said they love trading and they'll trade forever. But we've discussed this many times. Even traders who are really good at trading, like you have obviously found an edge, don't actually, like, traders are not traders. They're just people who want money for something else.
Yeah.
And it's just a means to an end of their true aspiration.
Yeah, definitely. That's what it is.
It's nice that you can admit that, not just to yourself but also to others.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking earlier, and this is your 5th podcast this year, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And we were trying to find some other questions that we can talk about, because you're saying that you get asked the same stuff every day, like how much have you made this year? What is the blah, blah, blah. So we were trying to think of some creative questions, and the first one that came to my mind was the first one that came to my mind was, what questions do you have for us?
Yeah. So this is the one we were actually talking about, and it's, you've been traveling constantly. I'm just seeing this country, that country, this country, and I can't even travel to one country and trade at the same time. How are you running a prop firm whilst also traveling to numerous countries at the same time? I don't get it.
It's not easy, but it's about having the right team.
Right.
So
okay.
the thing that I did before we started going on these trips was to install managers of every department to make sure that they have a clear mandate, what they're supposed to do, and how they're supposed to do it, and when they're supposed to escalate things to me. Because obviously if someone is not confident with their ability to make decisions, or what they're supposed to do or allowed to do, what powers they have and what limits they have, then they will be every day asking me, which is not efficient, right? So it was something that I was aware of before we started this, but there was obviously the time pressure because flights were booked, so I had to make sure that everything was, I wouldn't say solved, but established before taking the trips. And I start to see, after I think it's been nearly 3 months of quite consistent traveling, that now there needs to be a realignment again, because during that time the company has changed, because it's a small company that has grown really, really fast, and every 3 months almost everything changes. All the customers are different, or at least there's a doubling of the customer base every 3 months. So it becomes almost a different company every 3 months. And I would say that's what has happened in the past 3 months. So this is why it's going to be in like blocks of 3 months. So 3 months where I need to focus all of my attention on the operational stuff, make sure all the managers are correctly mandated what they're supposed to do. And then again, 3 months of being able to travel and just doing it in sprints like that.
Yeah.
But I also do calls with everybody and do, let's say, health checks, make sure they're okay. And I also ask other people to share their opinions about other people too, which is also helpful. But also it's about having everybody trust that they can talk to me as well. Because if they feel like they can't talk to me, then they may not be telling me important stuff. Like if something is wrong and they're like, I don't want to tell James, he's going to be mad at me. And then it would get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So it's also important about how you treat people, because if someone does something and I just start yelling, going crazy, then all they will learn from that is, I better not tell James when I break stuff.
Yeah. It's the same way with raising a kid. Like, you want them to be able to tell you if something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
I would say it's very similar. Taking care of employees is very similar to taking care of kids.
I mean, how you do one thing is how you do everything. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Everyone should work on understanding psychology, because psychology is in everything, in relationships, in raising kids, in running a business. It's in everything.
Yeah, even just
trading.
the market itself.
The markets, yeah.
If you look at the charts, that is literally just a collection of human psychologies on a chart.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it's all controlled by other people's decisions.
Yeah.
Most people don't consider that.
Yeah.
I kind of use that to my advantage with my strategies.
Oh, wow.
So you kind of understand where people are going to be fearful, where people are going to be greedy, where are the big boys, where do they want to get in? Because they understand majority of people's psychology, they're going to panic over here.
Mm-hmm.
We can take price up here, and then we can take them out, grab it from here, and then we can take our actual positions. And when you understand that in the market, I'm trying to anticipate that and enter when they're entering.
Mm-hmm.
So you are looking for manipulation
Yes.
and entering afterwards.
Exactly. It's always some sort of manipulation. That's when I want to enter.
Mm-hmm. So when you are teaching, because you have a community, and I assume that you're teaching them how to approach the charts, how to analyze.
Yeah.
What are the things, how do you share with them in a way that they can understand what they should look for?
Well, for one, is very simple chart markups.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have a drawing on my chart in terms of basic market structure. Where is the box that I've marked out? This is the area I'm looking at for price to come into, for me to, let's say, take my sell position. But then I also mention things like premium and discount pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very important because a lot of people, like you're probably aware of fair value gaps or order blocks or whatever. A lot of people just see a random fair value gap and they're like, oh yeah, let's take a sell. But not understanding
the concept.
Mm-hmm. So price needs to come into a premium area because psychologically we know people want to sell at a high price. People don't want to sell when price is discounted. They want price to increase, then they can sell. So now if we have a bearish market structure, price is now retracing up to a fair value gap. They might take a very early sell, and I'm just like, don't do that. Wait for price to come into a premium area, which is above a 50% retracement, because anything above 50% is like, okay, we're in a nice premium area. That's where you're going to get your actual sales from. So this is what I mean. Like a lot of people panic and they just want to enter quite early, not realizing the actual people that want to get into the market, they know that people are going to get in early. They want to get in at the premium area or the discounted area. So it's just understanding concepts like that.
Yeah. Do you only teach them technicals or you also teach them fundamentals? And do you use fundamentals in your trading?
Purely technical. I don't look at fundamentals at all because my trading is intraday,
Mm-hmm.
same day in and out. So it doesn't really matter majority of the time what the fundamentals are saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to catch the daily move. That's it.
Is there anything that would cause you to not want to be in the market?
Yeah, so if there's like a news release like non-farm payrolls or CPI, I know that most likely until that's released, price is going to be all over the place. Yeah, it's not going to be
choppy.
Exactly. So it's best to just stay out of the market until that news event at least comes out. And by the time that comes out, that's just too late in the day because
there's not enough time for the trade to play out.
Exactly. I like to get in, like, for example, if the daily candles are printing bullish, I know that when the next daily candle opens, it's going to first push down most likely, make a bottom wick before it pushes up and continues up. But if it's late in the day, does it have enough time to do all of that? So I kind of tend to get in on London session because then that gives me the whole day to catch the whole move, basically.
Do you trade every day or you trade like just 1-2 days per week?
Every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
So are you able to find good setups every single day?
Majority of the days, yeah. I would say 4 to 5. Yeah, pretty much every day I can find
Do
one.
you focus on a specific asset or you trade multiple pairs?
I trade multiple. I trade like 3 or 4 major pairs. But my main one that I look at is DAX or German 40. That's kind of the main one that I trade.
And how do you pick which one you want to go for and which one you're focusing on the most? How did you decide to focus more on German 40?
Just studying price action, for example, just basic market structure. I see that German 40 tends to just follow highs and lows, It just follows it so well compared to other ones where it can be a bit choppy. It's not as clean. But when German 40 makes its impulsive moves, it moves. So it's just the moves are very clean. Market structure's clean. That's why I kind of stick to mainly German 40.
What's the most you've made from one trade?
Depends how you want to see it because,
Let's say the movement. What's the biggest movement you've ever caught?
well, I mean, in terms of monetary aspect, it's 100,000 in one trade, but that was split across 5 accounts on the same thing. So, for example, Top Step for the futures account, I had 5 of the same accounts, and the trade was just copied on each one. So altogether, it was 100,000 in one trade. But standalone one account, it was like 55,000 or 50,000. No, 50,000.
Mm-hmm. But I'm speaking about like the performance of an individual trade relative, to how the market moves. So, for example, 1,000 pips, 10%, something like that.
I think this one was like, I've done like 22, 23%
In one trade?
In a trade, yeah.
That's insane.
And how about risk to reward?
1 to 22, 1 to 23.
Oh, so you're not risking like big percentages.
No, I
You
don't
just
need
go
to.
for. And do you pay attention to risk to reward and win rate, or you just manage your trade based on what the market is telling you at the moment?
Yeah, so I don't have like a set risk to reward or anything. It's
Mhm.
just I get my entry however it presents itself. I
Mhm.
place my stop loss where it needs to be, and my target is based off the previous highs and lows,
Mhm.
or major liquidity areas, or big higher time frame fair value gaps where I'm expecting price to go. So it's not like I'm set 1 to 10. It's like whatever the previous high gives me, that's what I'm going to take.
Mhm. And you mentioned that you trade futures as well. Which one do you prefer, CFDs or futures, and why?
Oh, see, now with CFDs, I like that I can trade German 40.
Mhm.
With futures, most future prop firms don't offer German 40, so that's a bit of a setback for me.
Mhm.
In terms of spread, we can't deny futures has the best spread because it's instant. Like, I can enter a position, I'm instantly in profit. That's the only advantage, I would say. But other than that, I prefer the rules of CFD prop firms. It's just better for me.
Okay, interesting. And how do you manage all your accounts? Because you mentioned that you're copying trades. Do you trade at the same time futures accounts and CFD accounts? And how do you, because I believe you cannot copy from a CFD account to a futures account. So how do you manage your accounts? Because
So
I find it a little bit overwhelming when I'm trying to manage multiple accounts at once.
I get that. Yeah, a lot of people ask me this. I manually switch between accounts all on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So on MetaTrader or CTrader, I am switching between accounts, trying to place the same trade again and again between all
Okay.
my accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really being copied at all.
I understand. Okay. And what would you change if you could change? Like if you go back, what are the things that you would change in order to have a better journey or a smoother journey, or you wouldn't change anything? What advice would you give to yourself if you're about to start now?
One advice I'd give to myself is to look at major reversal points
Mm-hmm.
and to look to the left and understand what that candle looked like. Where did it reject? Why did it reject there? And kind of get that mental image of this is the type of area or this is the type of candles where price reacts from and where it finally rejects from.
Mm-hmm.
So even looking at things like psychological values. So for example, let's say on USD JPY price is at 143,000 and you have a fair value gap there and you have a high that's just hovering above it that hasn't been swept. So it's like all of these confirmations, understanding that price, when it finally reversed, it took out this low, it came to this fair value gap, and it came to this psychological level, 143,000.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, finally that's where it reversed. So it's always about looking at where you get the major reversal finally, looking to the left, understanding what that area was.
Mm-hmm.
And that would help significantly understanding market movement.
And how about on a psychological level?
Oh, on a psychological level, I would say it's difficult because for me, it was getting the payout. That changed everything in terms of confidence. So I guess confidence would be the biggest one, and understanding that your system works. So I guess to help with that, it would be to journal every trade and see that it actually works. Like on a statistical level, it does work. So that would boost my confidence straight away. I've never journaled my trades ever. So I guess I never had a numerical value. It works 80% of the time or 70% or whatever. So I guess having that statistical analysis of your trades and knowing factually it does work, I guess that confidence would definitely help.
Do you think that they should journal the like forward testing trades that they're taking, or back testing would be enough?
Definitely forward testing. Back testing is just not the same as actually seeing the candles printing and taking those trades.
Mm-hmm. And do you journal your trades now? Do you look at your data?
No, never. It works. I get paid out, so I don't really see the need to.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
journal.
think you can perform even more, perform even better?
I guess I know how I can perform better. I just don't do those things. It's like I know where I went wrong. If I take a loss, I look back at it straight away. Like, okay, why did I take that trade? And I can see, oh, finally price reversed from here. I should have saw that. So me writing it down, I don't think that does much for me. But it's just like a mental understanding. Okay, you messed up there. Try not to do that.
Do you think you got complacent because of the success that you have now?
What do you mean?
So you said basically in your whole career, which you have your first payout, you said in 2024,
Yeah.
the big one, it's like 1 year, 650 grand in 1 year.
Yeah.
Do you don't have the appetite to squeeze more? Like, what if you could have had 850 if you were doing it a different way?
I have a lot of lost profits, and I do look back on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are times where I could easily have made more, and I do see that, and I do understand I could have done something differently, but I guess I don't feel like I have the psychology for that just yet. I still struggle with discipline. I still struggle with following my plan. So yes, I do reflect on I could have done this better, but I also understand realistically, I understand my nature and my personality, and it's just like I did what I could. I know I could have done better,
So,
but it's just a bit difficult for me to do that.
so ultimately, you're satisfied with everything that with your current performance.
No,
Okay.
I'm not actually satisfied. I don't know how to explain this, but I tend to be a very irritated person. I'm just always annoyed. Like, I'm always in a very annoyed state because I know I can always do better. I'm always limiting myself. I'm always limiting my potential. My wife says the same thing to me. She says, you have so much potential, but you just limit yourself, because she can see, like, I can just do so much better. So I am always annoyed at myself, but I get by.
Okay, but maybe you could do something about it.
I do try, but it's just not clicking for me.
Mm-hmm. So it is a form of complacency. You're
I guess.
successful, you could be more successful, but you're still successful.
Yes, yeah, definitely. If I actually did what I should be doing, I would be in a different place.
Are you looking for a solution to solve the problem, or just because you're doing well, you're not in an urgency of looking for a solution of the current problem that you have?
Yeah, I think that's the case. There's no urgency
Mm-hmm.
because I'm doing all right. In terms of monthly, I know I can make quite a significant amount. It's not where I would like to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have big dreams and big goals of where I want to be, but it's definitely an amount where I can just relax. I don't really have to push that much. But again, that's me limiting myself, which isn't good. And it sometimes I do reflect on that. It's like, you just think back on it, like, I could have done more.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be quite annoying.
Do you think your strategy will work forever, or do you think it will start to become less effective over time?
Well, I don't actually have a set strategy. Rather, it's more just following the market, like
Discretionary trading. So
It's by
evaluating.
discretion.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But overall, it's still very simple, which is follow market structure, follow the highs and the lows. I don't think that's ever going to stop working. Trending markets will always trend at some point, and you just capitalize on that.
Yeah. When you work, do you have students, or it's just a community where you share your knowledge and your journey?
I'm actually in the process of getting students, which
Okay.
I'm very vigorous about who I pick, because most people, I don't really like most people, because when I see how they speak,
Mm-hmm.
how they approach trading, it's like, I don't want to work with someone like that. So I can be quite vigorous in picking who I want to actually teach and who I feel like can actually make it.
Mm-hmm. So what are you looking for in a student that you would like to work with, and what are the characteristics that you want to avoid?
So when it comes to difficulties, for example, let's say they don't have a job.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fair enough. It's like they don't have a job. I can't like beat them up about that. But
Yeah.
it's like, well, what are you doing to try and, you know, fix that? And you kind of get to know from their answers, they're not really trying. Are they actually applying for jobs? No, not really. They seem like they're too comfortable where they are. There's no urgency for them to actually succeed. They're just trying to get into trading, but not actually putting in the work. So then that's just like, all right, cool. I know I'm probably shouldn't be working with you. So I don't know. It's just getting to know people in terms of how bad do they want it,
Mm-hmm.
and if they're actually putting in the steps to get to where they want to.
What kind of mindset and what kind of external conditions do you think a trader needs in order to be able to see quicker results?
I think maybe being numb to stress.
Mm-hmm.
Not numb, but be able to handle stress, because it's a very stressful thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people just collapse in on themselves. They break down, and they, like, you can tell that a lot of them, they just disappear and they just can't handle the stress. So I guess it's stress tolerance. That's a big one that I look for.
How did you build stress tolerance?
Just practice, I guess. It's just going through the same thing again and again and again. You just kind of get numb to losing. Like, I've lost for 6 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people would ask, how did you do that? I don't know, I just got used to it. And I was very, very fearful of failing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, being stuck. So I was very fearful of being stuck working for the rest of my life, like 9 to 5, because I've done it. I've worked in a physiotherapy clinic. I've worked in hospitals. I've worked from home. I've done the jobs. And it's like, I don't like this. And I was very afraid of living the rest of my life like that. So that fear kept me going. And I just took on the stress. And then over time, it's just like, I'm used to it now. I know it's going to be stressful, but you just get numb to it.
It's not going to kill you.
Exactly.
So the fear of being stuck in a state that you hated was stronger than the fear of losing. And that's what kept you going.
Exactly, yeah. I'm very, very afraid of being trapped in a situation where I don't have options.
Interesting. Do you recall any memories from childhood that helped you to build stress tolerance? Because this is a skill that we all develop. So it must have started already from childhood. Do you remember what are the things? Maybe it might have been even later on in life. Stressful situation that kind of taught you how to handle stress better.
I think it all started much later when I actually started trading.
Mm-hmm.
Before trading, in my childhood and young teenage years, I think I had a very, very privileged upbringing. We lived in a council estate where, my family didn't make much money, but I was always given what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad would provide whatever he could. Like, if I looked at a PlayStation or whatever and I just pointed it out, within a week, it's just there at home. It's like, wow. So everything was kind of given to me. I was very, very coddled, very taken care of. So I never had to experience stress or handling bad situations. Everything was like a fairy tale for me. And when I got married, I started realizing, oh, that was my childhood. I always thought that I had gone through stress.
Mm-hmm.
But my wife pointed out, no, you've had it easy. And I guess I realized that now. It's like I had it actually quite privileged and quite easy, and I guess I'm very blessed in that regard. So yeah, no, the stress started when I started trading. That was my first ever time where I took on challenges. Otherwise, everything was given to me.
Mm-hmm. How did you handle the situations when you were in a drawdown, and how did you get out of the drawdowns? Because this is the most challenging thing for every single trader. You are way more calm when you are in profits and you would just want to make more profits, but the challenging part is when you're in a drawdown. So what is your strategy approach? Like, how do you approach trading when you're in a drawdown to get out of it?
So now what I would do if I'm in drawdown is very simple. I don't really care. It's like with prop firms, the beauty of it is if I fail, I can just start again.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, and I'm not losing a significant amount of money even if I lose the challenge. So I guess that's the
relieving.
Yeah, that's the relief of it,
mm-hmm.
where it's I can lose. Like if my account is in 6% drawdown, I would just risk the remaining percent, like remaining 4 or 5% or whatever's allowed, just blow the account. If it blows, it blows. If it passes, it passes. Like, I don't really care. So I guess it's just approaching it in not caring, because I know that I can just buy another account and do it again.
There is a reset button, yeah.
Exactly, you just reset.
Do you think you would be where you are today if it wasn't for prop firms?
No, definitely not. Absolutely not. Because I've tried to go back to personal live capital trading and I realize I'm not that good.
Interesting.
And there are very few people that admit that. So
again, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think is the blockage when it comes to personal money?
Self-discipline.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing, sticking to my plan and discipline. I don't do that very well.
Mm-hmm.
I know my strategy works. People who learn my strategy, for example, my brother, he actually sticks to it more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And he's more consistent than I am. I have much more reds than he does, but I know my strategy works, but it's just me having the patience to wait for it, stick to it. I just don't have it. I guess that's quite, we could say, pathetic, but that's just me. I guess I don't really have the psychology for it, the discipline and patience.
What is it that you don't like about trading?
You know, if I think about it, I think it comes down to me facing myself and who I am.
And that makes you uncomfortable?
I guess there's that aspect. I've never actually thought about it that much, but I think it's because I will have to lose the bad habits that I currently have. And I guess part of me doesn't want to go through the hardship of breaking those habits, so I kind of avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's why I'm always annoyed. I'm never really satisfied or happy. It's because I know I can do much more, but I constantly limit myself because I guess I'm afraid of
letting this identity to fall off and getting into a new identity.
Yeah, I guess it's just, the fear of that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Have you thought of have you worked with a performance coach or?
No, never.
Okay. Have you considered?
No, I guess it's because I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't want to get rid of that part of me. So I guess I actively avoid it.
Why? Why don't you want to? Because you're going to level up by leaving this limited identity and getting a new one. Are you afraid of losing people that are aligned with the current identity? Are you afraid of something else?
Definitely not losing the people that currently are with me, because I feel like even if I was to change, they would always support me because they've shown that throughout time. I don't know what it is. I guess maybe you can help with that. I don't know why I limit myself, and I don't want to break those habits. I don't know what it is, but something's limiting me.
Interesting.
Because you mentioned as well that you're keen to get into property development as well. Yeah. The thing is, whatever is limiting you here is also going to limit you there. And in that scenario, there are no property development challenges or prop firms that are going to limit your risk. That those risks you take are all on you.
Yeah. But I guess maybe that's it. Yeah, I guess.
Maybe it's because you don't want to do it for trading. But if you think about doing it for something else that you do care about, that is your aspiration.
Maybe. I don't know. That could be the case. But you're right. I think you're right. Because when it comes down to me not having any external limits to myself, I can kind of go off the rails. So for example, when I trade my own personal capital, no one's limiting me. I can do whatever I want. And suddenly I go off the rails. But with prop firms, they implement external rules. You have to follow this. So then I can stay within the parameters and do fine.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess you're right. If I was to go into property, any risk I take is on me. No one externally is really going to be changing much and affecting it. So I guess I'll struggle with that too. But I feel like I will get to a point where I can find a way which works, but it won't be as efficient as it could be, or as efficient as it could be.
So I can already see where the programming comes from. The educational system is the one that is first of all teaching us to obey rules, and your mind is still stuck there. You want to have external accountability and external rules to follow, to obey in order for you to do well. Don't you think so?
I guess there's that element to it, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So, what are you planning to, what are your next steps? What are the goals that you want to accomplish in the near future? And how do you plan to shift towards real estate? Because you said you don't want to trade forever. You want to first accumulate a certain amount of money and then change to real estate. Do you have a specific goal that you want to reach in dollar amount, pound amount, in order to move towards a thing that you're more passionate about? Or you're just you just know what you want and you're just waiting for the right timing to change?
I think there isn't a specific dollar amount, but I know it's quite a lot. If I can buy, let's say, 4 or 5 properties, basically I want to get to a point where I can buy enough properties where I'm generating at least like 50 to 100,000 a month passively through whatever means, whether it be properties or laundromats or car washes, whatever businesses that I can set up, and they provide for me passively. I guess around about the 50 to 100k a month. I guess that's where I can relieve from trading and maybe get into just very slow swing trading, like place a small risk position and kind of just let it be. But I guess it's around 50 to 100k a month. If I can get to a point where I can purchase enough things to do that, then I can leave trading.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was an amazing conversation. We got to learn not just about your trading, but your long-term aspirations of what you want to do after trading. And you shared two thoughts that most traders, I don't think, would care to share or even understand about themselves. You understand that trading is actually not something that you enjoy. And I believe that's probably one of the most controversial things anyone's ever shared on one of our podcasts. So I want to say thank you for your honesty and sharing something that a lot of traders may even be critical of, and you have this aspiration of creating a community and teaching other people. And something like this could be misunderstood by others as, someone who doesn't actually have a commitment to trading. But I would actually see it in another way, that you actually understand yourself and what you want from life. So I just wanted to congratulate you on that. And once again, thank you for joining us in, we're joining you in London, but for joining us in this podcast. So thank you very much, Zamco.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me. You've helped me think a lot about myself.
Amazing.
And last thing before we finish, do you have a long-term vision that is guiding you? And what would be the last words that you would like to share with traders?
Long-term vision, I guess, would be to be in a position where I have everything set up, where everyone that I love is taken care of, and no one has to stress. I went through a lot of stress so that no one else has to stress. So I guess I would just want to get to that point. And in terms of advice, it would be to understand what your personality is, who you are as a person, and that will take you to another level when it comes to trading.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you again really soon.